Namaskar, good evening. You are watching Rajya Sabha Television. I'm Smriti Rastogi with News Tonight. Let's begin the bulletin with the top headlines. NDA to back JDU MP Harivansh for the post of Deputy Chairman of the Rajya Sabha. Opposition parties yet to reveal their choice. Election to be held at 11 a.m. on Thursday. Nomination to be filed by 12 noon on Wednesday. Both houses of parliament sit for extras to pass key legislations. Rajya Sabha passes Constitution, 123rd Amendment Bill 2017 and the National Commission for Backward Classes Repeal Bill 2017 gives constitutional status to the National Commission for Backward Classes. Lok Sabha passes the Scheduled Caste and the Scheduled Tribes Prevention of Atrocities Amendment Bill 2018. Bill overturns Supreme Court order that struck down provision for immediate arrest. Huge blow for Naxalites in Sukhma district of Chhattisgarh. 15 extremists killed, 2 arrested. Anti-insurgency operation near Konta and Golapalli police station limits lasted 1.5 hours. And Chief Justice Deepak Mishra says Supreme Court will consider if Article 35A that gives special status to Jammu and Kashmir and its people violates the basic structure of the Constitution. 3-judge bench posts case for hearing in the week starting August 27th. Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu affirmed on Monday that the election to the post of Deputy Chairman to the Rajya Sabha will be held on 9th of August. The post fell vacant after P.J. Kurian's term in the upper house ended in June.
Addressing the upper house, Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu said members can give notice to be elected to the post of Deputy Chairman by Wednesday. Any member may give notice of a motion addressed to the Secretary General naming the member who they wish to be chosen as the Deputy Chairman. The notice has to be seconded by a third member and accompanied by a statement from the member whose name is proposed that they are willing to serve as Deputy Chairman if elected.
Honourable members, I have to inform you that the election to the office of the Deputy Chairman of Rajya Sabha will be held on Thursday, 9th of August 2008 at 11 a.m. immediately after laying of papers, reports on the table. Honourable members can give notice of motion in the Rajya Sabha notice office up to 12 noon on Wednesday, the 8th of August 2018. Any notice received after 12 noon on the day will be treated as time barred. Already I have instructed this to be included in the bulletin also. Members also will be coming to know of the same.
Opposition parties met last month looking to consider a consensus candidate. Neither the opposition parties nor the government have yet announced a candidate for the post. The post has been held by the Congress for nearly 4 decades. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
And the ruling NDA alliance has indicated that it will back Harivansh, Rajya Sabha member of JDU from Bihar, for the post of the Deputy Chairman of Rajya Sabha. Congress leader Ghulam Nabi Azad also convened a meeting of all opposition parties to consider a consensus candidate, but no decision could be taken.
मैं आभारी हूं एनडीए के सारे उन नेताओं का जिन्होंने मुझे इस पद के योग्य समझा। आपके माध्यम से उनके प्रति आभार तो व्यक्त करता ही हूं, साथ ही राज्यसभा में सारे दलों से मैं यह अपील करता हूं कि कुछ संवैधानिक पद ऐसे हों जिन पर हम आम सहमति बनाएं।
With those remarks, JDU MP Harivansh Narayan Singh put the ball in the court of opposition parties, who now have to either suggest their own candidate or support the ruling NDA's choice. Earlier, after a meeting of the opposition parties, leader of opposition in Rajya Sabha, Ghulam Nabi Azad, said more efforts will be made for a consensus.
कंसेंसस 2 चीज़ों पर हो सकता है, या पार्टी पर हो सकता है या व्यक्ति पर हो सकता है। हमें दोनों मंजूर है। अगर कांग्रेस पार्टी पे या किसी एक पार्टी, विशेष पार्टी पे कंसेंसस होता है, हमें कोई आपत्ति नहीं है, या किसी विशेष व्यक्ति पे कंसेंसस होता है, वो भी हमें मंजूर है। और मुझे पूरा विश्वास है कि हम कंसेंसस बनाने में सफल हो जाएंगे।
Given the strength of the various parties in the upper house, both the ruling and opposition parties are playing their cards close to their chest. The ruling dispensation got a shot in its arm after the Telangana Rashtra Samitis announced its support 2 days ago. As of now, the total strength of the upper house is 244. The BJP has 73 members and the Congress has 50. Other regional parties which will have a major say include the Samajwadi Party and the AIADMK with 13 members each. The BJD has 9 members, the JDU, TDP and TRS each have 6 members. The CPM and RJD have 5 members each in the upper house. The BSP, DMK and NCP have 4 members each, while the Shiv Sena, Akali Dal and Aam Aadmi Party have 3 members each. The Panthers Party, CPI and YSR Congress have 2 members each. The INLD, Sikkim Democratic Front, Bodo People's Front, Kerala Congress M, Republican Party, JDS, IUML and NPF have 1 Rajya Sabha MP each. There are 6 independent members, while nominated members who have not declared their association with any party are 4.
ये पद ऐसा है जो कि पूरे सदन के लिए और विश्वास और आस्था का प्रश्न है। सबसे बातचीत करके और उसमें से जो संभवतः सर्वानुमति बनती है, तो इससे बढ़िया कुछ बात होती नहीं है। तभी चर्चा के माध्यम से ही इसमें से निष्कर्ष निकाले जाते हैं, और जो व्यक्ति चुन करके आता है फिर वो किसी पार्टी का नहीं रहता है, सदन की कार्रवाई को निष्पक्ष रूप से चलाता है और सबके लिए वो समान रूप से उनके अधिकारों का संरक्षण करने का काम करता है।
It will also be interesting to see how the TMC and NCP will behave, given the fact that they vehemently pitched for their own candidates. Similarly crucial will be the stand of Shiv Sena and the BJD, who are trying to keep equidistance from both ruling and the opposition side. Akhilesh Suman's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
An election of the deputy chairman was necessitated after PJ Kurian's term expired last month. A look at the election process of the deputy chairman of the Rajya Sabha. The Vice President is the ex-officio chairman of the Rajya Sabha. The Deputy Chairman, on the other hand, is elected by the members of the House. The Rajya Sabha Chairman fixes the date for the election, which the Secretary General notifies to all members.
A day before the date of the election, up to that date, notices can be given. Notice has to be given by a member in respect of another member that he should be chosen as the deputy chairman, and a third member has to second the proposal. The member whose name is proposed has also to give his consent. Such notices come, and when they are listed in the list of business, they are taken up one by one on the day of the election.
The Election Commission has no role in the election of the Deputy Chairman of the Rajya Sabha. It is passed in the House through a motion like a normal bill. But the contest becomes interesting if the party does not have a clear majority. Barring just one exception, only Congress candidates have been elected as Deputy Chairman of the Rajya Sabha. The Congress held the post of Deputy Chairman for the last 41 years. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. And at the beginning of the sitting on Monday, Chairman of the Rajya Sabha informed that with just 5 days left for the monsoon session to come to an end, an important legislative agenda pending, the Rajya Sabha will sit beyond their stipulated time of 6 p.m. to ensure passage of key bills. He said he is happy to have the cooperation of all members in this regard. The chairman also complimented members for a successful 2-day orientation program for the newly elected and nominated members that concluded on Sunday.
We have so much business, including 24 bills. And at the end of the parliament session, you know, public, media and others also will be reviewing how many bills were passed, how many issues were discussed, etc. Keeping that in mind, in the Business Advisory Committee, I suggested, and I was happy to note that honourable members have agreed that the House will be sitting till late, beyond 6 o'clock, sometimes up to 8 o'clock also, depending on the need. So please make up your mind and then try to be there in the House.
And the Parliament on Monday passed the Criminal Law Amendment Bill 2018. The bill enhances the minimum punishment for rape of women from 7 to 10 years and provides for life imprisonment or death penalty for the rape of girls below 12 years of age. The bill was passed in the Rajya Sabha by voice vote. It will replace the Criminal Law Amendment Ordinance that was promulgated on 21st of April. Minister of State for Home, Kiran Rijiju, said the bill addresses several lacunae at the investigation and trial stages of the rape cases. Now, the investigation in the rape cases has to be completed in 60 days instead of the earlier 90 days. The trial will also be time-bound and will take place in camera. The bill was passed by Lok Sabha on 30th of July.
आपको पता है कि जो पॉक्सो है, प्रोटेक्शन ऑफ वुमेन चिल्ड्रन फ्रॉम सेक्सुअल ऑफेंस, दैट इज ए जेंडर न्यूट्रल लॉ. और उस पॉक्सो में एक एग्जॉस्टिव टोटल एक उसमें रीलुक दिया जा रहा है, जिसमें जो डिटेल आपने जो मैटर यहाँ रेज किया है उसका समाधान कर सकता है. आईपीसी 176 में जो पनिशमेंट का प्रोविजन है, पहले 7 साल होते थे, अब उसको 10 साल किया गया है. 376 आईपीसी. सर, उसके बाद जो 16 साल से जो नीचे है उसके खिलाफ अगर बलात्कार होता है तो उसके लिए सजा पहले 10 साल हुआ करता था, अब उसको मिनिमम 20 साल किया गया है और वो रिमाइंडर ऑफ द लाइफ जेल वहां पे रहने का प्रावधान है. 12 साल से जो छोटे हैं बच्चियों के साथ अगर ये रेप होता है तो उसके लिए 20 साल, पहले 10 साल था, अब न्यूनतम 20 साल से रिगरस इम्प्रिजनमेंट और डेथ, इसका नया प्रावधान रखा गया है.
जिन लोगों ने गड़बड़ की है, गलत काम किए हैं, उनका ट्रीटमेंट हो, उनको सजाएं मिले और उनकी मानसिकता को सुधारने का काम किया जाए, ना कि उनको सजाए मौत देने का काम. सर, ये लगता है मुझे गवर्नमेंट का थोड़ा सा पॉपुलिस्ट मूव है. जिन लड़कियों के साथ, महिलाओं के साथ बलात्कार हो रहे हैं, अपराधी उनको मार देते हैं, जान से मार देते हैं. हमें ये भी डर है कि बच्चों के साथ भी कहीं ऐसा ही ना हो.
आज इस देश में ऐसे घटनाओं के साथ, ऐसे घटना पैदा करने वाले, घटना बनाने वाले, करने वाले जो लड़के हैं, जो यूथ भी है, जो बड़े भी हैं, जो सीनियर भी हैं, सभी लोगों के जहन में ये बैठ जाना चाहिए कि पकड़े गए तो मृत्यु दंड.
2 माह का जो नियम बना है, तो इस 2 माह में कोई भी जांच नहीं हो सकता. हमारे यहाँ महिला थाने में 33% महिला पुलिस होना चाहिए, वहाँ 60% है. फॉरेंसिक विशेषज्ञ जो जांच करके बताते हैं अपराध हुआ है. मैं बताना चाहूंगी कि हमारे देश में 4340 पद अभी फॉरेंसिक एक्सपर्ट के खाली हैं. मैं चाहती हूं कि इस बिल को सेलेक्ट कमेटी में जाना चाहिए.
The definition of rape should be made gender neutral. Even the Law Commission of India 2000 and the Justice Verma Committee 2013 had recommended provisions regarding rape be applied equally to both male and female victims. The bill, however, does not take this approach. Sir, the purpose of a policy intervention should be to address the concerns of all, irrespective of gender. In this regard, the law is not inclusive. While the concern of the bill to address safety of girl child can be understood, this does not justify the bill leaving out protection of males and transgenders from rape.
And the crucial bill to provide constitutional status to the National Commission for Backward Classes on Monday was passed by Rajya Sabha with over 2/3 majority. Several members urged the government to make public the findings of the caste census and implement reservations accordingly. The demand was raised during a debate on the Constitution 123rd Amendment Bill 2017, passed by the Lok Sabha on 2nd of August, superseding the amendments earlier carried out by the Rajya Sabha. On Monday, the Upper House adopted the legislation along with the amendments made by the Lok Sabha by 156 votes to nil.
मैं आश्वस्त करता हूं कि ये ओबीसी वर्ग के लिए संवैधानिक दर्जा प्राप्त आयोग होगा, इसमें भी ओबीसी वर्ग के सदस्य होंगे. एक बात मैंने पिछले टाइम भी स्पष्ट कर दी थी, फिर भी उस विषय को बार बार संशोधन भी आया कि एक महिला सदस्य होना चाहिए. मैं गंभीरता से आश्वस्त करता हूं कि जब हम नियमों का प्रावधान करेंगे, नियम बनाएंगे, तो एक महिला सदस्य होगी, इस प्रकार का प्रावधान उसमें करेंगे। ये कहा जा रहा है साहब राज्यों के अधिकार का हनन होगा।
ठीक है,
किसी प्रकार से न तो राज्यों के अधिकार का हनन होगा, न ये केंद्रीय आयोग के प्रतिवेदन पर उनके ऊपर किसी प्रकार का बंधन होगा। वो अपनी कार्यशैली, अपनी कार्यवाही करने के लिए स्वतंत्र होंगे।
28 साल के बाद ओबीसी कमीशन को कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल स्टेटस देने के संबंध में निर्णय हो गया है। कांग्रेस पार्टी ने करने की आवश्यकता थी, लेकिन उनके ध्यान में आया नहीं, और मतलब उन्होंने कोशिश करनी चाहिए थी। लेकिन ओबीसी कमीशन को जिस तरह मतलब ये न्याय नहीं मिला, और इसीलिए कांग्रेस ने दलित और ओबीसी को न्याय नहीं दिया। कांग्रेस ने दलित और ओबीसी को न्याय नहीं दिया, इसलिए मोदी जी ने सत्ता को छीन लिया।
Social Justice and Empowerment Minister Thawar Chand Gehlot said it would help the backward classes people fight atrocities against them and ensure quick justice to them. As per the suggestion by the opposition parties, the NCBC would have female representation. The commission would not encroach upon the rights of state governments, as they would have their own backward class commissions. The NCBC would recommend only to the central government regarding inclusion or deletion of a particular caste in the list. Lok Sabha on Monday passed the Scheduled Caste and the Scheduled Tribes Prevention of Atrocities Amendment Bill 2018. The bill seeks to amend the Scheduled Caste and the Scheduled Tribes Prevention of Atrocities Act 1989. The Union Cabinet had approved it last week after the government decided to bring a constitution amendment bill in the parliament to restore the original provisions of the SC/ST Act. The new bill seeks to nullify the Supreme Court judgment pronounced in March this year, according to which immediate arrest of an accused under the SC/ST Act would no longer be mandatory. The arrest was to follow a preliminary inquiry by the probing agency or the police. The government has set up task force to prepare a roadmap for manufacturing aircraft and unmanned aerial vehicles in India. Commerce and Industry Minister Suresh Prabhu informed Lok Sabha on Monday. The minister said that aviation has become a fast-growing sector in the country with the addition of new passengers every day, which may lead to procurement of thousands of aircraft in the coming years. Replying to a question on some countries trying to dump their products in India, Suresh Prabhu said the government has been conscious to take any such situation and takes immediate action whenever necessary, like adopting anti-dumping policy to protect the domestic industry.
The whole problem lies in low productivity, not so good quality, not scalability, at the same time not allowing the products to be globally competitive, and that's the reason why it happens. I fully agree with you. So to address it fundamentally, we are coming up with a new industrial policy. That will be announced very soon. My ministry has already finalized it. Interministerial consultation is over. It will go to cabinet very soon.
The Supreme Court has adjourned hearing on a batch of pleas challenging the constitutional validity of Article 35A pertaining to Jammu and Kashmir. The Chief Justice of India, Deepak Mishra, said the crucial hearing on Article 35A has been adjourned as one of the three judges in bench was not present. The Apex Court added that the three-judge bench hearing case has to decide whether issue of Article 35A has to be referred to larger bench. Supreme Court has listed the matter for hearing in a week commencing August 27th. Article 35A, which was incorporated in the Constitution by a 1954 presidential order, accords special rights and privileges to the citizens of Jammu and Kashmir and denies property rights to a woman who marries a person from outside the state. On to some more developments. At least 15 Naxalites were killed in an encounter with security forces in the dense forest of Chhattisgarh's Sukhma district. The police said this was one of the biggest anti-Naxal operations in the state. 2 Naxals, including a woman who was injured in the gun battle, were arrested. 16 weapons, including 315 bore and 12 bore guns, were recovered from this spot. 2 teams of security forces were sent into the forest from different directions based on intelligence inputs about the location of the Naxal camps. President Ram Nath Kovind on Monday inaugurated the Festival of Democracy to mark the conclusion of the Diamond Jubilee celebrations of Kerala Legislative Assembly in Thiruvananthapuram. Addressing the occasion, President congratulated the people of the state and members of the House on the Diamond Jubilee of the Kerala Legislative Assembly. The President expressed confidence that the discussions in the Festival of Democracy will provide actionable and practicable inputs for the progress of the legislative democracy in the country. He said the decent debate and disagreement are perfectly acceptable and should be welcomed in polity, but violence has no place in our constitution. Kovind arrived in the state capital yesterday on a 3-day visit to Kerala.
Violence has no place in our constitution. It would be appropriate if we could give some thought to this at a festival of democracy. The people of Kerala and the citizens of India deserve that we do serious thinking on this issue as well.
On to some more developments. Pepsi co-chief executive officer Indra Nooyi is going to step down from her post. Nooyi, who has been the CEO of the company for the past 12 years, will leave the company on 3rd October but will remain as chairman until early 2019. According to the company, Ramon Leguata was elected by the board of directors to succeed her. Nooyi, who created history by becoming few Indian-born females to lead a global giant, was placed at number 2 on the US Fortune's list of the most powerful women in business outside the US in 2017. She also topped the list of highest paid female CEOs. And US President Donald Trump's decision in May to withdraw from the 2015 nuclear deal has paved the way for the re-imposition of the US sanctions against Iran beginning on Tuesday. The US sanctions will come in 2 phases based on the 90-day and 180-day wind-down periods set by the US Department of Treasury. The so-called wind-downs are essentially grace periods given by the US government to companies, both American and foreign, to wrap up their business, terminate operations, and pull their money out of Iran. Meanwhile, Iran has said the United States was isolated in its hostility to the Islamic Republic as it braced for the return of sanctions against a backdrop of political turmoil inside the country. The European Union has said it would trigger an EU law that shields European companies from US sanctions. And for more on this, we'll go across to Mr. Shilkant Sharma, former diplomat. Sir, thank you so much for speaking to Rajya Sabha Television. Sir, why these US sanctions against Iran, and what are the 2 stages of sanctions which the US is imposing on Iran?
You know, these sanctions were lifted in 2015 once the Iran deal was signed. And the deal was essentially that Iran would stop all pathways towards its, feared march towards nuclear weapons. And in exchange to that, the sanctions will be lifted. So Iran had that comprehensive, this JCPOA agreement, and agreed to stop all those things. It returned its enriched uranium, it stopped enrichment in its country, and it also limited the total amount of enriched uranium to 3%, to just 300 kilograms, which would hardly make a bomb. And in return, the US lifted sanctions which were connected with nuclear program of Iran. But other sanctions which US had about missiles and human rights, they remained. But now President Trump has reimposed all those sanctions which were lifted in 2015. Actually, they were lifted by 2015 October and finally in 2016 January. And so by reimposing these sanctions, what US is doing, you cannot do dollar trade, US dollar trade with Iran. Then precious metals, gold, steel, aluminium, they will all not be tradable with Iran. Then Boeing aircraft will not be, the commerce in that area will not be available to Iran. This had actually opened Iran to civil aviation. Iran's aging fleet of its Boeing aircraft could be, renovated, repaired by supplies of spares. But all that is now blocked. And this is the first phase of sanctions reimposition. The second phase will be in November, when even petroleum from Iran will not be allowed to be sold. And those countries which are buying Iranian crude will come under sanctions.
All right.
So this is the sum and substance of the US sanctions on Iran.
And
but
Mr.
the important
Sharma,
point is that these sanctions are not like UN Security Council sanctions, which are binding to all the other countries. So the Europeans, Russia and China, they are not bound by these sanctions. So they are not imposing any sanctions on Iran. And as you mentioned yourself, that Europe has, the EU has brought into force that 1990s blockade act, which protects Iranian European companies from the sanctions imposed by the US. So this is where we stand at the moment.
And if we talk about the implications, Mr. Sharma, what implications these sanctions will have on Iran and other countries trading with it?
Well, you know, there is this big problem that even though governments are willing to trade with Iran, the companies have their separate interests, especially say in Europe, for instance. Many European companies are big and they are dealing with the US and US companies. So they want to avoid coming under the spell of US sanctions. So even though the governments in the European Union are willing to protect them from sanctions, the companies are themselves withdrawing. Already 100 companies have actually started withdrawing from Iran in Europe. And other countries also will have a similar impact, because the commercial, after globalization, many companies in various countries have direct dealing with the US. And US being the largest economy, it has that sweeping control. If dollar transactions are banned, it's very difficult for a country to trade. So these sanctions are going to limit Iran's ability to trade with the world, and investment will dry up, and Iran's currency has already tumbled, very, very sharply
since April.
But the Iranian regime is very strongly committed to maintaining its independence, and they have recently, negated or rejected the U.S. President's offer in the midst of threats that he is willing to negotiate with Iran. So that shows that Iran is very steadfast and is not likely to, renegotiate the deal.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sharma, for joining us and giving us a wider perspective on that latest development from Iran, where the US President Donald Trump's decision to impose sanctions in 2 phases will be imposed from Tuesday. The first phase will be imposed from Tuesday, and the second phase of the sanctions will take place on 5th of November. That's all we have for you in this edition of News Tonight. For more news and updates, keep watching Rajya Sabha Television.